Hello, welcome. We're so happy to have everyone here today. Those who are joining us live, those who are catching the replay, welcome everybody. We are all Microsoft student ambassadors, and we're here to talk about Risk Awareness Now, Year in Review, Attacks, Breaches, and Data Leaks. I am your host, Philippa Burgess, and we'll go through and introduce our speakers, our topics. Very excited for today. We've got a great event, got some fun engagement opportunities and surprises and some just fun stuff for hanging out with us today and getting into 2025. What we learned, what happened, what we learned. It's a big year in cybersecurity, and we're seeing lots of things accelerating. So I think this is just a really important topic. So we're just here as our first panel. It's going to be a 30-minute panel. We're just going to introduce ourselves. What we're going to be talking about, just kind of setting the stage and giving some sort of housekeeping for today's event. So it's myself. So I'm going to do a brief introduction of you.
Hello everyone from my side, I'm Konstantinos Lianos. I'm a cloud security specialist. I don't know, I think we to start from my...
Yep. Fantastic. Cyan?
All right, hi there, and I'm San Karmakar from India, and we'll be talking on the risk awareness now, obviously, and in the 325. And obviously, I'm an intern at Microsoft, so let's begin. Hope so. It will be a great session today.
Excellent. And Damir?
Hello, everybody. My name is Damir. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador for the past 2 years. Today, I will be talking a bit about attacks, breaches, and data leaks, and generally about social engineering. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So let's just get into our sort of event overview. We're going to establish a shared global threat landscape for 2025. And I think it's really exciting that we're getting to do a global event because we've got, I'm in North America, in the United States. We've got Europe represented. We've got India represented. So we're getting a really global perspective. And I know a lot of our audience is around the world. We've done partnerships with the Nigeria Association of Computing Students and University of Abuja. So we have definitely a global audience and a global sort of speaker presentation. So I think it's going to be just exciting for the opportunity to really get this global perspective because these threats are not local and these threat actors are global as well. And it impacts absolutely everybody around the world. So we'll review the most consequential attacks, breaches, and data leaks across cloud, software service, and supply chain environments. We'll highlight AI-driven attacks, scale, which have just increased the scale. Identity is a primary failure service and rising regulatory and insurance pressure worldwide. We'll frame why 2026 will accelerate and amplify the realities exposed in 2025 and ensure that security enhancements and continuity sort of continue to adapt. And we have a bit of time here before obviously we kick off our entire session. So this is a great time if you want to also just say hello and introduce yourself in the chat. You're welcome to do that. We'd love to know where you're joining us from. And again, part of we've done these events on Teams as part of our Microsoft Student Ambassador Program. So this is the first time we as a team are bringing it onto YouTube. So really excited to sort of build community here and share these insights and have them have a kind of a longer life. So definitely comment and say hello and join us. And let's get to some housekeeping now. So many of you have registered and joined us from Luma, and we will be sending out announcements and links in Luma. Each of these events is a separate event, so definitely we ask you to come session to session. So there's a playlist you can follow, or also they're all sort of hosted on the GeoCyber Systems or the respective channels where you're seeing this. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn Live, you'll have the opportunity, just like I said, follow along and join us for the next session. So that way we have six separate sessions. Again, there's a YouTube playlist, and then there's the chat. And so please introduce yourself in the chat. We're also going to use Y99 at certain points in our event, specifically because that's kind of a separate chat feature. A lot of times people don't want to necessarily drop their LinkedIn in the chat, so this is a more sort of private forum, because by the time we get to session 3, definitely want to do some networking and give you guys the opportunity to connect with us and connect with each other. And then we have some other prizes, and so those links for those raffles will go out through both Y99 and through Luma. So make sure you're registered on Luma. Again, we'll have session activities, and some of our prizes include exam vouchers. And then also, if you want to receive a certificate of participation, we will have that as well. And again, so those are sort of, we'll kick it off with session 3, a bit of networking, and then bring those prizes and raffle forms into sessions 4 and 5. And with that, so our first session, and that's going to be, Cyan, is AI-enabled attacks from novelty to default tactic. I'm going to just actually have each of our speakers now just kind of go back and just talk a little bit about your session, what you're going to cover, and a little bit more about your background. And I think everybody should learn a little bit more about, well, 2 things. One, the Microsoft student program, I think, is amazing. And I've absolutely loved getting the direct mentorship from Microsoft and the incredible community that we're able to build. And we also want to talk about NICE cybersecurity career frameworks. And NICE is the, at least from the United States, is the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education. Because everything we're talking about here, and we're not talking so much about the solutions as we are the problems. We'll get into some solutions, but one of the events we did in December was a focus on Microsoft solutions and innovation and looking at all the different platforms and all the tools. But this is a much bigger why. Why do we use these tools? Why are those tools necessary? And what's actually happening in the threat landscape. So that's why I want to, have this particular event. So let's, at the beginning of the year, let's do a year in review. And again, great to see everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us live. We'd love to see you here and want to make this as engaging as possible. So that is all great. So yeah, I'm going to have everybody kind of just talk a little bit about your background, yourself, and your session. And also, I want to say with the cybersecurity career pathways, if you're emerging in your career, it doesn't matter really to me if you are identified as a programmer or a data scientist or geospatial or an AI professional. The reality is that security impacts all of us. So if you have a code on your phone, you are doing cybersecurity. So this is not just about like, oh, I want to be a cybersecurity professional. This is for everybody, whether you're emerging professional, whether you're a business leader, or any role, because as we'll talk about today, social engineering and how people can easily be manipulated, or you get those phishing emails. So whether you're dealing with it personally or professionally, we all can be cyber aware and much more secure. So that's part of why we're all here today as well. Cyan, I'm going to turn it over to you. Spend some time introducing yourself, your relationship to Microsoft Student Ambassador Program, your interest in cybersecurity, your role as a tech professional and student.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Philippa. That's a great introduction as well. And yeah, I'm San Karmakar. And obviously, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador has given me many opportunities to explore this kind of fields as well, like in the cybersecurity, as well as the geospatials and many more different security backgrounds as well. So yeah, and my tech background is basically on the back end part, means mainly on the development as well as the production also. Little about the production, like there's a course origin problem when you just deploy your website or app uh, in your what you can say in your cloud or Azure. So obviously you will get problems, and the security is the main problem in it basically. So I faced issues with that things as well as many bugs regarding to that, as well as phishing mails when you are like giving or like sending a mail to someone. It's obvious to go in the spam folder to how. So there are some rules and regulations to why it goes to spam folder or like that. So yeah, we will be discussing on that very briefly in the coming sessions as well. So yeah, we will be talking on that things. And obviously Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador also given me many routes and findings that most of the communities do, but this has given me a great means aperture to go there and learn that things as well. So yeah, that gives me a professional background. So yeah, that's Philippa. That's it, I guess.
Fantastic. All right, Demir.
Hello. So regarding my previous experience working in identity management and cybersecurity, it comes from 2022, I think, when I started developing this centralized platform for big leader in the electrical energy electrical distribution market. So I think I have here how scary it looked at first when we wanted to develop something really secure, and I think this was like one of my first documents where we really wanted to build something bulletproof. So at first it was very scary. I don't know. Can you see my any of slides that I'm sharing right now? Are you able to see?
No, not yet. But I can add them to the stage. Hold on, I'll switch this out. There we
Okay,
are.
cool. So this, you can see my name back in 2023. This is like a technical specification we wanted to build for this huge market of 5 or 6 different applications, and this is how the graphical looked like. So you can see here a solution diagram. So the red was all about cybersecurity. So on the top, on the left, and on the right, we can see different providers. So this is one application in yellow, the second one, and the third one. These are free applications that the company was using at that time. We had some services like phone calling and sending messages, but later we realized this is all the red square was all about security. So this is whole authentication we had to build in order to get like client IDs and secrets, to have it all secured, and to not worry about anything that we might come across. So that was like my first experience. We used Out0 that now supports. At that time there was no Microsoft Entra. We had like some basic providers like Out0 and Okta later that acquired Out0, and we have like MLSA from Microsoft, and we used some like secret tokens at that time that were available. That Microsoft was still working on these technologies that now became generally available as part of Microsoft Entra. So now we don't have necessities to use some other libraries like Auth0 and Okta at that time. It was difficult, it was interesting, but we needed like a full year of development. We also needed a team of developers that will help us to bring such a solution to life. So at the end, we had like a centralized platform. It was called SIAM, like IAM and SIAM, like a centralized identity management platform, to which you could connect from all different 5 or 6 different mobile and web applications, and you could use SMS verification, you could use email verification, you could use OTP, like one-time password that you get inside a bank. Today, you could use all different variety of identification. Plus, on top of that, you could use services like Twilio, and you could make phone calls. You could identify yourself using your web camera. You could identify yourself using your fingerprint. So it was a full-scale authentication. that you can now find out as a service inside Microsoft Entra. So yeah, for me that was like very interesting. You need to develop that kind of consciousness to work with such possibilities, with such leaks and breaches that you can find everywhere, like in ethical hacking and in social engineering. So yeah, definitely before building anything on that side, make sure you don't lose your own passwords. Make sure you have authenticated your own servers or your physical equipment long enough so you can share that with your audience and so on. Yeah.
Excellent. Konstantinos.
Great. So, hi everyone, Jenny from my side. I'm Konstantinos, a cloud engineering specialist and a Gold Microsoft Student Ambassador. The reason I care so much about identity security is simple. In cloud and SaaS environments, identity is a perimeter. So when that perimeter fails, whether through stolen credentials, token theft, or of misuse, attackers don't need to be noise. They can act like a legitimate user, and it becomes very hard to distance the breach from a normal operation. So as a Gold Microsoft ambassador, I'm also deeply involved in the community side of security, building workshops and talks that translate real attack patterns into configurations, detections, and playbooks teams can be used immediately. I recently completed my master in information security data for agents with the highest grade, and my work is strongly focused on cloud identity security, privilege governance, and detection engineering. So today we'll look at the pattern that defined 2025 globally token theft that bypass MFA, SaaS to SaaS compromise through auth token, and privilege abuse that turns one account into enterprise impact. And then we translate those lessons into a 90 days plan, what to fix first, what to monitor, and what to operationalize before 2026 pressure ramps up. In my session, we are going to walk us through what identity compromise looking like globally 2005, token theft, auth abuse, and privilege escalation, and what practical identity first security should look like heading into 2026.
Fantastic. And I'll introduce myself. I'm Philippa Burgess, and I am a graduate student at USC in Los Angeles, and I am currently in law school for a Master's of Studies in Law and with a Privacy Law and Cybersecurity certificate. And that builds on a Master's of Science in Human Security and Geospatial Intelligence, which really kind of got me into sort of national security. And as a spatial data scientist, realized that, oh, if I'm working with secure data, maybe I should know how to secure it. And which kind of was part of what led me into following up on in cybersecurity. And I also have a master's of urban planning, and my undergrad is in international relations and film and television, which is actually one of the reasons I love doing events and like doing YouTube. So it all sort of comes together. I think public education, and when I say public, just what I call teaching in the public square, I think is really important, and building community and building capacity, and basically demonstrating that these can be careers, and you can follow a cybersecurity career path, and there's lots of opportunities, and there's really a gap. There's just a lot of jobs that need filling in the space, but also that every job that you do has a security component, or even in your own life, every time you touch digital, or even your own home and you have a lock on your door. We all should be security minded, and I also have a secondary black belt in Kung Fu, which I think is also part of my security mindset. I just like security. I like risk management, and I think that to me it's really important to create that awareness and also make it joyful and fun. I think we've seen a lot of cybersecurity trainings that are just really, really, really boring. And I was like, we can make this a lot more fun, a lot more engaging. We'll build a community around it. So really appreciate everybody being here and part of this conversation and learning together. and sharing these insights and having this kind of what happened last year. Like, let's look at it and what can we learn from it and what are the trends that we're seeing, and that really absolutely everybody is part of the security solution. It really does not matter what your role is. Again, personally, professionally, especially if you have children or you have parents or family members that are older, or grandparents, like making sure that they're, you're keeping them safe because they're oftentimes targets of scams. So this is kind of very, just I think it's just a super important topic, and I'm just like so happy that we're all here to talk about it and learn about it, and then be the solution for it. And I think AI is a big thing. Obviously it's a huge part of our lives. I mean, as student ambassadors, like some of the ambassador roles that I play, again, being that Microsoft student ambassador as we all are here, and also being a nice cybersecurity career ambassador. And that's part of a community interest that absolutely anybody can join. They meet monthly, and we'll have some more information on that later in the session. And they're just very committed to helping make those pathways into cybersecurity careers much easier and more accessible. And so that's kind of things that we want to enable. And if you know college students at the undergrad or graduate level, yeah, I personally can't recommend I was going to say can't recommend it highly enough, or I can recommend it very highly. We all love the Microsoft Ambassador Program and just think it's a wonderful adjacent ability to be mentored in tech and AI and cybersecurity and data and programming. And I'll leave on one last thought. My early introductions into programming, I would get blaring emails from Google saying, your API is open. And I'm thinking, like, well, if I'm hosting my code on GitHub, how do I hide my code? I don't understand that. And I didn't understand the whole like .env and git ignore and some very basic programming things to just be secure and not have your APIs or your secret keys and APIs exposed. And I think there's a story out there lately about some student who or young professional who got a $55,000 bill one month because he had an exposed API and lots of people used it, and then he got a really large bill. So so security can be in like the most basic things as well.
Philippa, and one more thing, that the ENV, that you pushed your ENV by accidentally in your GitHub, and it shows you that pop up that your ENV is public now, environment variables.
Yeah, and these are basic things that if you're programming, security is really important as a programmer to understand. Like, if you're you're working with anything that needs privacy or protection, or you're a data scientist, you're working with PII, personally identifiable information, or PHI, which has a lot of restrictions and health information. So understanding how to make it so that you can have row line access or encrypt data or mask data or just all the way, or the ways to protect. So to me, whether you're a programmer, you're a data scientist, again, you're an AI. I mean, AI, we're seeing kind of both enables attacks at scale, which we will talk a lot about today, which I'm super excited to talk about and learn about from our fellow speakers. But we're also seeing AI is helping with defense as well. And so, but AI is only going to add to the cybersecurity landscape, both in making it more dangerous and making it more safe. And the geospatial side, I mean, GeoAI is the thing. So, and even in education, my university just put together a partnership with ChatGPT for EDU, and we're seeing Perplexity and Copilot and other things kind of come into our university and academic and professional environments. And so we all have to kind of figure out how do we secure these things and all the risks that we invite. And every time all these new tools are like, we will integrate with your Gmail or your G Drive or your, and I just suddenly think, I'm like, how much access am I giving them? And is this okay? So we will get into all of that. All right, so we are at the top of the half hour. We're going to come into our next session and just really get the learning started and the discussions. And always welcome your questions. Drop them into the chat. I'm going to go ahead and drop some links now in the chat. So joining us for session 1, where we're going to jump into that AI conversation and talk about how AI is really making, it's bringing all of this at scale. And, it was a new thing, and now it's just kind of a standard thing. I'm realizing that the link that I just dropped, I'm out of space, so you get a clean link. But it's also on the playlist. You'll find it if you are watching this on YouTube, to join us in the next session. And I'll also be dropping this through our Luma. Do go to the description and register for Luma, because you'll get a lot more information there too, and some follow-ups. And yeah, just really thanks everybody for joining us. And we're going to jump into our next session. So look forward to having everybody meet us over there. And we will see you in just a few minutes, and we will continue our event, and excited to see you all over there. All right. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you in the next session.
Bye, guys.